Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, February 15th, 2013. There will be no broadcast on Monday, the 18th. It's a U.S. federal holiday. Big news, asteroids and meteorites today. In Russia, last night, a meteorite that weighed about 11 tons streaked at supersonic speed over Russia's Ural Mountains, setting off blasts that ended up injuring about 500 people. No deaths have been reported yet, but apparently the meteorite came in at about 33,000 miles per hour, and it shattered into millions of different pieces at about 18 miles in altitude. The fall caused explosions that broke glass windows over a very wide area. The Russian emergency ministry says that over 500 people have sought treatment and about 50 of them have been hospitalized. This all occurred about 930 miles east of Moscow. A 20-foot wide crater has been found in one area. Also, a 6,000 square foot roof at a zinc factory ended up collapsing. It's not known whether it was hit by a meteorite or collapsed as a result of a shock wave from the explosion. Of course, this all happened on the eve of today's flyby of a 150-foot asteroid that's going to go by the Earth at its closest spot at 2:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today when it passes over Sumatra in Indonesia. This is a small asteroid, even though it's 150 feet wide. The one that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago was 6 miles across. However, even this small one could do immense damage if it did in fact hit the Earth. Estimates are that it would release the energy equivalent of 2.4 million tons of TNT and wipe out about 750 square miles. Well, it's been interesting what's going on in Lloyds. Earlier this week, John Charman, one of the founders of Axis Capital, said that the new hot money that's coming into the reinsurance market through the sidecar insurers as well as pension fund backing of companies that are writing insurance and reinsurance, in fact, would weaken underwriting standards. A number of people have responded. Tom Bolt, the performance director at Lloyds, said yesterday that that will not be the case. He's monitoring the underwriting standards very closely. And Carl Phillips, who is the head of Amlin, in a speech yesterday said that if we're going to stand pat and be cautious on the new hot money coming in and not try to adapt and use it, we're going to lose business. Mr. Phillips actually made a very impassioned speech saying that the reinsurance sector needs to respond to the influx of capital into the market or risk watching its slice of the reinsurance pie diminish. He targeted out pension funds as heading a growing list of new investors that have entered the sector recently in search of yield-enhancing opportunities as a result of the economic downturn. He said, "We have people who represent names at Lloyds, but someone should be looking to represent pension funds." He warned that if Lloyds does not grasp the opportunity this new form of capital presents, then soon others will. He said there is a weight of pension fund money that is now flying reinsurers. There may be different speeds at which that will be deployed, but my view is that this has become an inevitability. We should be seeking to manage these funds and to be putting them to use in some shape or form at Lloyds. Well, I'll tell you, this is a 180-degree shift from about 15 years ago, but he's right on the money. There was an article in the Palm Beach Post that was released last night down in Florida. It said that the Citizens Insurance Company of Florida, the state-run property insurer, has decided to spend some $327 million in premiums on reinsurance in 2013. The company has spent nothing on private reinsurance as recently as 3 years ago, but company officials are portraying the increasing trend of reinsurance purchasing as a success. The president of Citizens, Barry Gilway, recently met with 60 reinsurers and syndicates. He said, quote, "I was absolutely amazed at the incredibly positive reaction we received from the market. The Citizens Board approved the concept of putting $327 million of taxpayers' money into reinsurance premiums in 2013. There, of course, now is concern about this because the Capital surplus of citizens is about $6 billion, and when you add in the claims-paying resources that are represented by the Florida Cat Fund, they could be as high as $20 billion. And of course, the money paid out in reinsurance premiums is not returned to surplus when in fact, or if in fact, there's a absence of claims in a 12-month period. But it's probably prudent, so nevertheless. There's a big forest fire right now in Chile, in the southern city of Valparaiso. It's the number 2 city in Chile after Santiago. It's destroyed at least 70 homes and caused the evacuation of 500 families. According to the fire department down there, it's the city's worst blaze in 20 years. The Carnival Triumph finally docked in Mobile, Alabama last night, being towed in at around midnight local time. 4,200 total people, about 3,500 of whom were passengers, ended up raucously cheering as the boat made landfall. It took them 4 hours to disembark, and the stories apparently that they told are all true insofar as the conditions on board the ship. There was a scary moment at the Da Vinci Airport in Rome yesterday, the big international airport there, yesterday afternoon, when a 19-year-old seeking asylum from the Ivory Coast set himself on fire. He was subsequently admitted to the hospital in very critical condition. He apparently was seeking to avoid deportation. The self-immolation occurred before he passed through security. He set himself alight in the main international departure terminal. Well, we'll close on this one. North Korea apparently has told its key ally China that it's going to stage 1 or even 2 more nuclear tests this year in an effort to force the United States into diplomatic talks with Pyongyang. Further tests could also be accompanied by another rocket launch. According to sources, the North Koreans told the Chinese that it's already a 4th and 5th nuclear test. They did the 3rd one last week, and a rocket launch could be conducted soon, possibly this year. The test will be undertaken unless Washington abandons its policy of what Pyongyang sees as an attempt at regime change. Well, the Chinese couldn't have been too happy to get that message. I don't know about these people. It's really something. Well, that's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. We will see you on Tuesday. No broadcast on President's Day on Monday in the U.S.